Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or next week, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome back. Today is Monday, June 15th. It's kind of a breezy day, so be careful out there. Put some rocks in your pockets. Speaking of rocks, nice segue, is I am working on my Indigenous rock. This morning, I already did another installment, another episode of our Seven Grandfather Teachings, and it was on humility the wolf. So I will be turning this rock into a wolf and have humility on the back. So watch out for that. Also have to do a shout out to Karen Gamache, who made me this shirt. Hug dealer. Who is a hug dealer? That would be me, Mrs. Payeur. So thank you very much, Karen. Oh, I think there we go. See how that works. So thank you. Want to talk to you this week. All this week, I'm going to be doing a little bit on Indigenous arts or Indigenous culture or Indigenous food or something about Indigenous peoples, because on Sunday, June 21st, this coming up Sunday, which is also Father's Day. And so if you're thinking about Father's Day gift, go back to my video. It talked about doing pebble art for dads. I don't have an example here, but it's pretty cool. So if you're thinking about that for Father's Day, and it is also National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is those Sunday, June 21st, which was also the longest day of the year. So to talk a little bit about that, I ordered a book from David Bouchard. He is an Indigenous author in Canada. He's written some amazing books, mostly for kids. And this is his new one. It's called We Learn from the Sun. It's about the 7 sacred teachings. His are a little bit different. I go more of the Cree version, I believe, and his are more Ojibwe. So check that out. And also I have a little Facebook. If you look up Medicine Wheel Education, it'll look something like this. Hold on, let's go to, present. My window, I want to present the window. Okay, share. So if you go to Facebook, let me go up here. And you go to Medicine Wheel Education, right? That's what this is right here, Medicine Wheel Education. You'll come to a page, and there's different things on here. For any of my students, we've done like the orange shirt, and that is coming up in September again. So there's different things on a lot of Indigenous stuff, but they also talked about discovering the 7 sacred teachings with David Bouchard. And so I did on June 9th, I listened to him, and he talks about his book, right? This book right here, We Learn from the Sun. It's 48 minutes. It's lovely. It's very lovely. But if you just want to go and listen to the story, I believe he starts about 13 minutes in-ish, 13-ish minutes. Yeah, 13, 14 minutes in. And I'm just going to give you a little sampling of what he says.
S'il y a quelque chose d'intéressant avec mon livre, c'est que c'est moi qui l'ai écrit dans les 2 langues.
Whoa, what am I doing? Wait! Sure, I want to
big. C'est moi qui ai mis mon cœur dans mon livre français. J'ai bien de vous montrer. Donc, le 1er septembre. Yeah. All I would do, of course, as I said, our book is coming out in French on the 1st of September. And obviously, I'm so...
Okay. Apparently, guys, I cannot figure out how to
my ancestors are from Saint-Jean, and my Métis ancestors from the U.S.
Anyways, he reads this book. It's a lovely, lovely book. Let me bring this back up. It's a lovely book. So if you're interested in that, take a look on that on Facebook. Medicine Wheel Education, David Bouchard. We Learn from the Sun. It's lovely. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to stop that because I messed that up. Okay, stop sharing. Here we go. Back to me. Okay, today, I know a few episodes back, like about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I talked about bracelets and making bracelets, and I gave you guys a couple different ways to do it. One of my favorite ways to do it, I didn't teach you that day, is more of a macrame, like more of a look, something like this. It's like macrame, okay? And I usually wear anklets, necklaces. I'm going to turn this one into like a macrame necklace because it's starting to get really thin and I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to make this into macrame. But usually wear a lot of anklets. And this one is actually starting to fall apart, as you can tell. The stuff is wearing away. So I'm actually going to cut it off right now. You guys thinking, what is Payeur doing now? All right, so I cut off my anklet. I love making anklets, but they only last about a year-ish, and it was going to fall off anyway. So I thought I'm going to make a new one, or start to make a new one, because see how it gets all frayed and this stuff starts to fall off, right? So I'm going to make a new one to show you. This was made out of a little bit different material. It was made out of like a cotton, almost like that crochet cotton that you make washcloths out of. I think that's what it was more made of. Like more of a finer, softer material. But I'm going to be using hemp. So hemp is like a natural product, and it's really stiff. Okay, when you first make it, it will be stiff. Like there will not be a lot of give to it. But as you wear it over and over, it will soften. It will probably even get almost like this soft, where it's like just loose and easy. So I'm going to show you how to make these. But first, you're going to need 2 pieces of string. So I have my hemp, and I want a piece of string because I want it a little bit longer than my ankle. So I'm going to go probably about how long I even can measure around my ankle. Right, I want it bigger than my ankle, but I folded it in half, right? Because I need 2 sides to it. So I'm folded it in half. I'm going to cut that. So this is for my ankle. It's folded, right? Probably almost as long as from my thumb to where my elbow bends. Okay, so that's the first one. And then the second one has to be really long because I'm going to be doing lots of knots. So I'm going to find the end, because that would be really important and really, something I would need. Um, while I'm untangling this, you can, like I say, check out those other bracelets if you haven't already. There's lots of cool ideas there as well. Okay, so I'm going to fold it in half, and I want it to be, for my ankle, I know this looks like a lot, but I fold it in half, and I have it almost as long as my arms stretch out. Almost, not the quite, but I need a lot because I'm going to be making lots of knots. So probably about that much, okay? So then I'm going to cut that, okay? And then where it's the middle, we have that loop of the long one, and where it's the middle of the short one, right? There's my loop of my short one. I'm going to put both loops together, right? So I've got them both together, and I'm going to tie that in a knot. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to just pinch it, and I'm going to twist it over on itself. I'm going to tuck those little tail guides. I'm going to tuck them into the hole that I just made, like so. And then I'm just pulling all the strings so that knot, I want that knot to be nice and tight because it's got kind of a loop that's sticking out there. I just want everything nice and tight. There we go. So there's my knot. Okay. So it's just like a knot. I'm not sure if it's a slip knot. It's just a knot around itself. Okay. Now I like to use a board. I know in the past I've seen kids, they'll take like a safety pin and they'll safety pin it onto the pants, and then they can do it on there. I've seen people like putting it around their big toes, sitting cross-legged and doing macrame. It's kind of up to you, but easiest for me is I have these boards. I had an old bulletin board that they took down, and I cut it up, and it's easiest to work on. You can have a little pin, you can have some tape. So if you need to borrow one of these, I have lots. So you need to borrow one, absolutely ask me, and I can lend you one. And even this macrame string, any string will work. I like the macrame because number one is natural, and number two, it's cheap. and it becomes really stiff, but then becomes really soft and nice after a while. So I'm going to put the camera. I've tried to work out a device, not like I'm not professional. So with a cameraman. So I tried to set up something. So I have a little, I don't know if you can see it, my little mic stand here. So I'm going to try and make it so you can see what I'm doing, because otherwise, if I just tilt, it's opposite and you'll be like, what are you talking about? So close your eyes, because I'm going to move the camera and I don't want you guys getting sick. So I'm going to put my thumb over top so you don't get sick. And I'm going to set it here. In theory, it should work, right? This is what I just tried. Let me just fix this one cord. There we go. And in theory, sorry guys, you know, momentary technical difficulties. Please stand by. Let's go like that. All right, cool. In theory, that's going to stay for a bit. It looks like it's moving just a slight amount. I think it'll be okay though. I think it'll stay. I think. I just turn the camera this way. Go in the middle. Perfect. Let's stay there. Maybe? Maybe not. How's that? That seems a little bit better. Okay, sorry. So now here's my board. And so I tie that in that knot, right? So I have a pin on this board, and I'm just going to loop that in there. And then the short guys, so I have two short guys. See those guys that are really short? I'm going to tape them at the bottom. So I'm going to put them in the middle, and I'm going to tape them at the bottom. I'm just going to put this here so you can see. I have a piece of tape that's there already. Oh, I don't know if you can actually see it. I'm putting it because I can't see the camera. I'm going to put a piece of tape there. So hopefully you saw that. Now, so my middle guys are taped over, and now I have two long guys, right? I want to this seats a little bit so you're not cocking your head. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the basic macrame square knot. It's going to like, this is my left side. Oh, it's still up. Oh no, it's going to work, I think. I don't know. It's going to go over, right? So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it over. I'm going to put this other guy over that one, and then I'm going to tuck everything underneath, and I'm going to put it behind. But let me show you in slow motion what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm taking the left because I'm left-handed. I'm not sure if it's showing left or if it's showing right. I don't really know. But I'm going to go the left. So I'm taking the left, and I'm making a loop, and it's going over top of the middle too, right? And I'm just going to hold that in the middle. I'm going to take this right one. It's going to go underneath. I mean, it's going to go over top of that one that I put on the side. And I'm going to tuck it under. And I'm going to go into that hole, and I'm going to pull it through. Now, that seemed like a lot. But the cool thing is I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm just moving that knot all the way up, right? I'm just moving it all the way up. Okay. So let's show that again. Now I'm going to do it on the right-hand side. So I'm going to take the right one, and I'm going to cross them over the middle, right? I'm going to take this left one. It's going to go over top, and then I'm going to tuck it under. So I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to tuck that under, and I'm going to put that long one into that loop. And what I like to see is I kind of like to see it like looks like I don't know, like a circle with two lines in it. That way I know it's doing it right, and it's all connected, right? It's all connected, not the circles on top and the strings are on the bottom, or the strings are on top and the circles on the bottom. It's all connected. And then I just slowly move that up with my fingers. And I kind of take my hand and I kind of like keep it on my pinky. I kind of keep it on the strings so that they don't move as I'm moving the string up, right? So that's one side. And then I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to go from the left. I'm going to go over top. I'm going to take my right hand one. It's going to go over top of that string that I just added, right? I'm going to hold down to this. It's going to go underneath into that hole. I'm going to pull it. Again, I've got that circle and that line. It's all connected. And move it up. And then I have to go the other way. So I have to go from the right. So the right hand. It's going to go over top. makes that loop, right? There's that loop. I'm holding it with my hand. This one's going to go over top of that string, right? So it's going to go over top of it. And I'm going to tuck under everything. Put that hole in the box, right? There's lots of great videos, probably better than I'm explaining it, but you're just going to keep going back and forth. Now I'm going to do a couple just to show you, because then I want to add a bead. So I'm just going from the left side, right? And now I'm going to go from the right side. So I'm going to go right over top. Left goes over top, and then I tuck everything underneath. I've got that circle and that line together. They're all connected. I'm going to tie it. Now, what happens is sometimes, somebody comes and talks to you, and you're like, oh man, where did I end up? Let me show you if I can go up really close. Do you see how there's like a little on the side? There's like a little stitch over, like a string over top, and then on this side there's a string coming out. You have to go from the side that has that little bump, right? As long as there's a string over top and then a string coming out, that's the side I start on. I don't start on this side because there's no string, like it's coming out, but there's no string covering it. Does that make sense? So I know I have to start on that left side. So I start on my left side, and I'm going to make my knot, right? And then I'll do the same on the right hand side. Oh, it's stuck though. What am I stuck on? There we go. And then I'm going to go from the right. So the right's going to go over top of the middle. My left is going to go over top of that string I just put there. And I'm going to go underneath everything. Make that circle, right, with the line. And I'm done. Now, I want to add a bead at this point. So I've got some old beads. My old bracelet, my old anklet, and cut off. And my boys, you're probably thinking, Miss Pay's talking about bracelets. But if you look at my video when I talked about bracelets, I have a friend, Andrew, and he wears bracelets. I don't know if he wears anklets, but he definitely wears bracelets. And so it's not just a girl thing, right? So I'm going to take my two. So I want to put my bead onto that string there. So I'm going to take the end of my two strings, and I'm going to put them together. Right, there they are. And I'm going to put the bead over top of that. Right? If you can see that. I'm going to hold onto the string. I'm going to move that bead all the way up. Okay. And now we just do the exact, so there it is. There's that bead. Let me move this out of the way so you can see. There we go. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go, again, there's that loop. So I know I have to start on this side. I'm going to make my thing, and it's going to go right over top of that bead. Watch this. I'm just going to try and brace this on the computer screen. Will that work? I should put something. Oh, let's put the tape underneath. There we go. Does that help a little bit? Okay. So I'm going to grab. I'm going to go from the left. So I'm going to go put the left over top of the middle. Right. The right hand is going to come over top. The right side is going to come over top of that. It's going to tuck underneath. And it's going to make that first knot. Now I'm going to tie it right onto that bead. Right? Look how it stays. That's cool. But now I have to do the same on the other side. So I have to go from this side, and I have to do the same thing. I'm just going to take my middles are kind of coming up. So I'm just putting the tape so that they stay down a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go over top the middle. I'm going to put this one over top. And I'm going to tuck everything underneath. And then pull that knot. Check. See, look, I got that circle, got that line. I'm going to move it up. Right? Now I'm going to do that all the way along until I find it's long enough. Now what I like to do is I like to count my beads. So if you look, those bumps that I was telling you about, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I should have done one more because I like odd numbers, but I would do like maybe every 5, and then I'm going to put a bead. And I'm going to do 5 more. I'm going to put a bead. 5 more, and I'm going to put a bead. Now some of you are saying, but Ms. Payeur, I don't have beads. Okay, well let me show you what you could do. If you don't have any beads, I'm going to show you a trick. Okay, so I'm just going to do my next. I'm going to do this as 5. I do like odd numbers. Because maybe Mrs. Payeur is just odd. That's why she likes the odd numbers. Right? And do 5 more. It's kind of hard to hold the board and hold the strings. It'd be easier if it was flat. But of course I'm trying to bring it up so you guys can see it. 2. Okay. let's just say I wanted to go here. I will take it out. But let's say you wanted to add a bead. But Ms. Payeur, I don't have any beads. Easy, no problem. So I wanted to add another bead here. But I have no beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pretend that there's a bead there. So I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to go over top, right? Hold on to that. Right hand goes over top and tucks under everything. Except I don't pull it all the way up. I stop here.
Hello, everyone. I will be doing a coffee run in about 5 minutes. If you like anything,
Okay, that has never happened. So don't think we just drink coffee all day. That's the first time that has ever happened since I've been here. Just so you know. Sounds cool though. I might have to go in and make a coffee run. Or go ask for a coffee run. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so then I would still keep going, and I could leave that. That just leaves a nice little space. Okay, so try it. See what happens. When you get done, you will end up with something like this guy. Okay, and what I did is I measured around my ankle. I wanted to see how big it was. Let's move this out of the way. Let's move the tape out of the way. Let's get this Payur's foot up here, right? And I measured around my ankle, and I have like a little bit of space. Like I don't want it too tight. I don't want it like digging into my skin, right? So I have a little bit of space. It's come pretty much all the way around. Now there's two things that I can do with this. I could put a bead on the whole thing, and I like those little pony beads. So I find the end of all that. So I've got different lengths. In theory, I could cut them all the same length. Right. So then I can put, oh, I'm just going to get that last one in there. I put all those in there. Right. I would leave some space on that string, and I would start putting in knots at the end here. Right. And I'm just going to put them loose because I'm not going to actually do this because I'm not ready for it. Right. And I would have that so there, and I would cut the ends of this, right, so that when I put it on my ankle, I could loop it over top of that. I would put the loop part is going to go over top of the pony beads, right, and just pretend that it's going all the way over, and that it would stay, right. So that's what, and that's for if you want to take it off. But you could also do it so that it stays on permanent. That's what this one was. I had tied it on so that it stays on for the whole year or longer, right? So if you want to just have it on, and the thing is, the big beads, sometimes I find when I'm sleeping that those bug my bones. Those pie bones are old, so you might just want not to want to have that. So I would take it and I would have it like this, and then just tie it on. You might need some help with this, right? Tie this on and get all those strings into that hole and tie it on permanently. You're gonna have to tie some good knots, right? So I take this, get them through. Of course, Mrs. Pie can't get it through right now because she's videotaping. I'll be able to do it once I'm not videotaping. What if I just cut the ends off? Let's just cut those ends off. And then wrap that around. So now they're all the same length. It's way easier. I can get into there. Yeah. And then I could tie that on permanently, right? I would tie it onto itself. So something to try. If you need hemp, if you need anything, always ask me. I will always help you. Close your eyes. I'm going to move the camera so you don't get sick. Whoop. All right. Okay, guys. So that's what we're trying today is some bracelets. Check out David Bouchard. Anklets. Again, boys, it's not just for girls. Again, that one that I put on my ankle, I think this is more of like a, if you're worried about the bead part, if you don't want those little beads on there, for sure, Totally. Just have it plain. That looks cool too. And again, my friend Andrew, he has many bees, bracelets, and I don't know if he I think he even had anklets at one point. I don't know if he still does, but I know at one point he did. So yeah, that's it for today. I think that's all I wanted to tell you. It's long today. I'm sorry. Miss Fire likes to talk. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you for showing up every day to see me. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more Indigenous stuff tomorrow, and we'll do something else. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.